In February 1991, Toyota engineers received a single brief: build the most over-engineered inline-six ever fitted to a luxury sedan. Not a race car, a sedan. Today, that same architecture survives 2,000 horsepower on stock internals, and it remains the one engine Toyota has never truly replaced. How the 2JZ became more than a power plant, how it became a belief system, starts with a car most people have never heard of. Toyota's flagship project began behind closed doors in early 1991 with the codename JZS-147 scrawled across engineering memos and meeting notes. The assignment: create a rear-wheel drive luxury sedan that could outclass anything from Nissan or Honda, not just in comfort but in raw capability. At the heart of this ambition stood the engine brief, delivered in February, demanding a new six-cylinder that would future-proof the Aristo for years to come. Chief engineers Hiroshi Kobayashi and Masato Nakamura led the powertrain development division, pushing for an inline-six that was not only powerful, but virtually unbreakable. Their answer was a closed deck, cast iron block, an architecture more at home in a race shop than a showroom. Prototypes were machined by April, and by July, the twin-turbo system was delivering 280 PS on the test bench, meeting every target. On December 1, 1991, the first production 2JZ GTE engines rolled off the Motomachi line, destined for the Aristo's V-grade trim. Toyota had built a luxury sedan with the soul of a heavyweight prizefighter, setting a new internal standard for what a power plant could be. Toyota's ambitions for the 2JZ engine family extended far beyond a single sedan. By the early 1990s, the same architecture found its way into the Sourier Grand Tourer and, under the Lexus badge, the GS300 for export markets. The Soarer, known internally as the UZ31 and JZZ31, offered both luxury and performance, pairing the 2JZ with advanced suspension and electronics. In 1993, the US launch of the Lexus GS300, model code JZS-L47GS, brought the 2JZ platform to American buyers, though it was in naturally aspirated form. This multi-model rollout reflected a deliberate strategy. Toyota could amortize development costs while giving its luxury and performance divisions access to the same robust, overbuilt inline-six. The 2JZ became a common thread linking sedans, coupes, and export models, embedding Toyota's engineering priorities across its premium lineup. This approach set the stage for the engine's later reputation, as it quietly powered everything from understated executive cars to the brand's most ambitious sports projects. June 1993, under the bright lights of the Tokyo Motor Show, Toyota unveiled the Supra JZ80. This was not just another sports car launch. It was the moment the 2JZ engine found its most famous home. The Supra's long, sculpted hood and signature rear wing framed the 2JZ GTE as the centerpiece, a declaration of intent from Toyota's engineers. For the Supra, the 2JZ was more than a power source. It was the car's identity, its soul. Official press releases described the engine's twin sequential turbos and closed-deck iron block with pride, promising a machine built for endurance and speed. Yet, in export markets, Toyota dialed back the output to 276 PS, a nod to emissions rules and the era's gentleman's agreement. Even so, the Supra's presence was unmistakable. It stood as a rolling showcase of what Toyota could achieve when profit margins took a back seat to engineering ambition. The Supra became a halo, casting the 2JZ in a new light, not just as a component, but as a legend in the making. June 2001. The Fast and the Furious roars onto American screens, and overnight, the 2JZ GTE is no longer just an engine code for insiders. It is a household name. The film's blazing orange Supra, with its turbocharged inline-six, does not just win races, it ignites imaginations. Parts distributors like HKS and Greddy saw demand for 2JZ turbo kits and forged pistons skyrocket more than 200% within a year. At the 2002 SEMA show, crowds tripled around booths selling 2JZ components. Online forums exploded, growing from a few hundred die-hard owners to thousands of new members, eager to swap stories, share dyno sheets, and hunt for their own piece of the legend. The 2JZ is not just powering cars anymore. It is powering a movement. What began as a luxury sedan's secret weapon is now the most wanted heart transplant in the tuner world. The engine has become a pop icon, a badge of honor, and the gold standard for what is possible when engineering meets raw desire. Hiroyuki Kawai, founder of HKS, stood at the crossroads of skepticism and possibility in 1995. At the Tokyo Car Show, his team brought out their Stage 4 Supra build, an experiment that would set the benchmark for what the 2JZ could endure. The numbers spoke louder than any ad campaign: 550 horsepower on a stock bottom end, with the engine holding together through repeated dyno runs and track abuse. Tuners across Japan and the US pored over the results, searching for the weak link. What they found was almost unsettling: a cast iron block that shrugged off boost, a closed deck design that resisted cylinder flex, and main bearings that only started to complain above 800 horsepower. Yet, even as the legend grew, a single flaw surfaced: the 2-bolt main caps. Under extreme load, well past anything Toyota intended, these caps could stretch or walk, threatening the crank's alignment. Still, the fact remained: the 2JZ could reliably cross the 500 horsepower line on stock internals, a threshold few production engines dared approach. Kawai's validation didn't just fuel the next round of builds, it rewrote the rules for what was possible, turning a luxury sedan's heart into the most coveted swap in performance tuning. By the early 2010s, the 2JZ engine had achieved a new kind of ubiquity, one that reached far beyond Toyota showrooms or the pages of tuning magazines. As original Supra and Aristo donors grew scarce, the aftermarket stepped in. Engine importers began shipping used 2JZ GTE engines by the container load, while crate engine suppliers and machine shops offered rebuilt long blocks and short blocks, ready to drop into almost anything with an engine bay. Adapter kits and plug-and-play ECU harnesses from companies like Lamspeed and Wiring Specialties multiplied, making it possible to install a 2JE into platforms as varied as the BMW E36, Nissan S chassis, or even classic American muscle cars. Sales data from 2023 show that nearly 7 out of 10 new 2JZ crate engines were destined for non-Toyota vehicles, a reversal of the engine's original purpose. Online, swap forums and YouTube build channels documented this cross-pollination, fueling demand for ever more refined swap solutions. The result was an engine that belonged to no single brand or model, a power plant adopted and adapted by a global community. It set the stage for the era of 2,000 horsepower street cars, and it redefined what it meant to be a legend. A new generation of builders set out to answer a question that once seemed unthinkable: just how far could the 2JZ be pushed? The answer came roaring out of dyno cells and down quarter-mile tracks. Titan Motorsports strapped a Dart Iron Eagle block into a 2001 Supra, dialed up the boost, and watched the numbers climb. 2,150 horsepower at 10,200 RPM, confirmed by both NHRA timing lights and a calibrated dyno sheet. Ekanu Racing's 2019 Supra, built for IHRA top methanol, ran a verified 6.5 1-second pass at 282 miles per hour. Its Dart block holding together under pressures that would shatter lesser engines. Even street builds joined the club. Racing Motive's 2021 Lexus GS 300 posted 2,015 horsepower on a single turbo setup, still anchored by the reinforced bones of that original cast iron design. These are not outliers, they are proof that the 2JZ's reputation is not just folklore. The same architecture born for a luxury sedan now stands as the foundation for 2,000 horsepower monsters, each run a testament to Toyota's original over-engineering. When the final 2JZ engines left the Motomachi plant in 2002, Toyota quietly closed a chapter that would outlast its own product cycle. The 2JZ's journey from flagship power in the Aristo to the heart of a global tuning movement left a legacy that refuses to fade. Even as Toyota shifted to aluminum blocks and outsourced the next Supra's engine to BMW, the community's devotion only deepened. In forums and at meets, the refrain echoes: "They don't build them like this anymore." The B58 in the modern GR Supra delivers speed and refinement, but it rides in the shadow of its cast iron predecessor. For many, the 2JZ isn't just a technical achievement, it's a symbol of an era when engineering ambition trumped marketing logic. Its unfinished legacy lives on in every swap, every dyno pull, every late-night garage session, proof that a true legend is measured not by production numbers, but by the stories and loyalty it inspires. What began as Toyota's luxury flagship outgrew profit margins and model years. The 2JZ's overbuilt design and untouchable myth now drive a global subculture, not a factory line. No true successor exists, only the legend. Even as technology evolves, belief in the 2JZ refuses to yield. Share your thoughts below.